Well, what's on the menu this week? Well, this is barbecue pork and potato gratin. And on top, we've got a nice crust of Parmesan cheese, Gouda cheese, and panko breadcrumbs. And inside, we got the potatoes. We have this fantastic creamy sauce we made with onions. And then we have pieces of barbecued pork in there too. Yeah, you want to be making this. Still a little hot. Oh, ho, ho. All right, let's go in the kitchen and make some right now. All right, so here's the ingredients for our gratin. Across the front, well, we've got here a quarter cup of butter. I've got a quarter cup of flour, a teaspoon each of salt and pepper, three cloves of garlic, thinly sliced, 1 ounce or 30 grams of grated Parmesan cheese, 1 cup of panko breadcrumbs, the Japanese panko breadcrumbs. Over here, 2 onions, again thinly sliced. And here I've got 12 ounces. I got 12 ounces or 340 grams of Gouda cheese grated. Here I've got 8 ounces or 230 grams of barbecue pork chopped up. Here, 2 pounds, 900 grams of potatoes which have been scrubbed and thinly sliced, roughly around 1/8 of an inch, about 3 millimeters. And then here we have 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream, that's the 35% plus, and 1.5 cups of milk. I'm going to use a big cast iron pan because this is going to go in the oven later on. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get this up to medium heat and get that butter melted. As soon as that comes with the heat, we'll get the butter in there. All right, in goes the butter. Start that melting. All right, butter's melted, in goes the onions. And now I'm going to cook these onions for about 8 to 10 minutes. Stirring them a lot, well, stirring quite occasionally anyways, and soften them up. And then we'll be back and we'll add in the garlic. So see you back here about 8 to 10 minutes. All right, those onions are softened up. We got little browning happening there, just this nice golden color. So now what I'm going to do now, actually this could have been added in earlier, but I forgot, salt and pepper. It's always the earlier the better, but now still a lot of cooking to go, so it's okay. So get that in there, going to add in the garlic, and I just want to cook this for just a minute now. Don't want to burn that garlic, so just cook it for about a minute, stirring around a bit till the fragrance from the garlic comes out. All right, so it's been got the smell of garlic coming out here. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit, more like a medium low, and get the flour in there. And I just want to cook that flour also about a minute or two, so I get the rawness out of it. Probably about a minute's going to be good enough because we've got quite a bit of heat in here still, so don't want to burn it. Stir around, stir around. All right, so that's been about a minute on the flour. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the milk and slowly add that in and kind of scraping up the stuff out the bottom here because a little cooked on. There we go. And we don't want to let it thicken up yet, so we just keep adding milk and scraping until everything. There we go. Keep adding the milk. And now I'm about a medium-low, somewhere between medium and medium-low. What I want to do is I want to bring this to a simmer. So I keep adding that. As it starts to thicken up, I just keep adding more. All right, so that's the milk in there. Next is going to be the cream. This is going to be quite delicious. All right, so what I'm going to do now So I'm going to bring this up to a simmer, just a gentle simmer, and keep stirring it until this thickens up. It's usually going to be around about 10 minutes or so. It just depends. So just keep an eye on it, keep stirring it, and when you see it start to thicken up, become a nice thick sauce, then we're ready to add in some of the cheese. All right, see you then. All right, that's looking pretty good. If you look at this, you see it just slowly running off the spoon. It's quite thick. We don't need it too thick because, of course, the cheese is going to thicken up even more. So what I'm going to do now is I want to add in about half of this cheese. So about like that. And all I'm going to do, stir that in until it melts. That shouldn't take long. It's pretty hot. There you go. And you'll see it's thickening it up even more. And of course, it's going to bake in the oven now. It's going to be absolutely perfect. All right, once that cheese has melted, take it off the heat. Now, what I want to do is I want to get the sauce out of there because that's where we're going to put everything else and bake this all. So, grab a bowl. Might all fit in there. Not too sure. Let's see. Oh yeah, perfect. I don't have to worry about getting it all out of there. Just a little bit left around the edges and a little bit on the bottom. That'd be good. Something for the potatoes to ride on. Oh, now what I want to do is I want to start taking these potatoes and just layering them in there. Just kind of a little bit of layer of potatoes. And then, got space there, we go. A little bit of the meat. Sprinkle that around a bit. In the middle there. And as we're doing that, then we go and we just lay a little bit of the sauce over top. And then, it's kind of like making lasagna. Just keep layering. And what I'm going to do now is just kind of smooth that sauce across. So it's over everything. That looks pretty good. And then the rest of that cheese sprinkled across the top. Beautiful. Now, the very topping. Let's get some of this stuff out of the way. All right, we've got the Parmesan cheese and we got the panko breadcrumbs. So, sprinkle panko breadcrumbs throughout here. You're going to go in amongst that cheese nicely. Drop down around the edge here. It's going to give it that nice crunchy crust on top. And then, to make sure that all the panko gets something melted into it, Parmesan cheese. Get that across there. Nice and even across. A little bit more in the middle because there's a bit more panko in there. All right. Tap that down just a little bit. And that's going to go in the oven over there. 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 degrees Celsius with the cover on for the first 45 minutes. Then we're going to take it out. We're not going to take it out. We're just going to take the cover off. Take the cover off and bake it a little bit longer. So, actually 45 minutes with the cover on and another 15 minutes with the cover off. Give it a full hour and that's going to give it a nice browning and melting on top. See you back here when this comes out of the oven. All right, So that's been an hour in the oven. So it's 45 minutes covered, and then the last 15 minutes uncovered. And that, look at this, bubbling a little over here. That is looking absolutely fantastic. That's dinner tonight. Smells so good. All right, if you like this recipe, make sure you stick around because there's a lot more original Kevin Riley Kuma's Kitchen recipes here on YouTube. Also, make sure you subscribe because every Monday there's a new original recipe coming out. And if you're not yet a patron of Kuma's Kitchen, consider becoming one, because for just $3 a month, you can be supporting the creation of these original recipes and these original recipe videos here on YouTube for you to enjoy. And also you get access to all the cool stuff that the patrons get. Now, go make this delicious gratin and make cooking fun again with Kuma's Kitchen.